Hi, and welcome to another episode of Tech of the Century. And today on the bench we have a very wonderful item here. This is the Compaq Portable. This computer was the first IBM PC clone. I think it was the PC clone the PC that they cloned. See, what happened is IBM came out with this piece of junk called the IBM PC. I think it's a piece of junk. I hate those fucking computers because, you know, in comparison to a lot of the other computers that were out at the time, the PC, or the 5150 that a lot of, you know, vintage computer people call it, they just don't hold a candle to the things that other vintage computers can do. There's other computers doing way better things at the time. IBM puts out this piece of junk and it sells well because, well, it's IBM, and that's about it. And then they follow it up with another piece of junk called the IBM PC XT, which was the 5160. So, by the way, I have both of those computers sitting in storage right now. I'm probably going to pull them out at some point and get them up and running and, you know, functioning properly. They're not my favorites. I will fully admit that. I think it was a shitty computer. In comparison, like, when I was a teenager, I had a PC clone. It was made by Emerson, of all people. And it sat there collecting dust while I was using my Commodore 64 and my Coleco Adam to do everything else. The Commodore 64 was for games, the Coleco Adam was for productivity, word processing, things like that. And the PC, I had the printer for it, I had word processors, I had all kinds of shit. I fucking hated the thing. It was, you know, just a pain in the ass. Slow. It was color, it was CGA, but, you know, playing games on it, although games were in like blue and purple, I fucking hate playing games on the old XT. Now, I have tons of respect for this Compaq Portable. You know, it's based on a piece of junk, but it's Compaq comes along to IBM and says, oh yeah, well, you made a piece of junk computer and charged up the ass for it. We can make a piece of junk computer just like yours that runs the same software that everybody loves, and we're gonna fucking, you know, kick your ass at it too. We're gonna make a really good piece of junk out of it. And so they came out with this thing. This thing looks like a damn sewing machine. Keyboard, I believe, is at the bottom. You fold it out. It's a nice little compact computer. I mean, I'll just show it to you. How does that sound, eh? So we take this thing. I gotta be careful here because I just had surgery and I'm not supposed to lift anything. So, no, I just tipped it over. That's what I did. Anyway, yeah, you push these open. This keyboard comes down and the screwdriver gets in the way, and yeah, there's a couple of little feet underneath it that you can stand it up a bit, and you turn it on. I think I made a boot disk here, and the thing turns on. It runs and everything like that. We're going to be taking it apart. It does need some work. There's a knob missing here. The brightness knob is gone on it, which kind of stinks, but I should have something I can throw on there, something sitting in the garage. The keyboard's going to be the worst part of it because it's got the little foamy sponges. This is the A-track of the vintage computer world. And we're going to replace all the foam under every single key on this thing. Ugh. And what I want this thing for is to, I'm going to put a hard drive in here. It's got two 5 1/4 inch floppy drives. I want a hard drive in here, and I'm going to put a 3 1/2 inch floppy drive in here as well. But I want to do all the repairs on it first, the necessary repairs, and get it up and functional first before I start making upgrades to this thing. And like, I have another PC. It's a PC clone, actually. I found it in the garbage about 10 years ago, I guess. And I call it the Agnes computer because the person who owned it before was named Agnes. She had written her journal all over this computer. I found it and read her journal. Well, she had two journals. She had a regular journal and a journal about her dreams. Read it, and I I put it up on my blog. Link is below. You can go read her blog, and some of the names have been changed, so nobody knows who the hell she is. But I nicknamed it the Agnes computer. And every time I want to do make discs for other vintage systems, I have to pull out Agnes because all the software's on there. It works great. It makes the floppies. But the thing is, it's like a tabletop unit, and you have to pull out the CPU, the keyboard, and the monitor. And I don't want to do that anymore. I just want to have it all in one unit. A unit that will do it all for me, that I can just shove into a corner, so I don't have to set up a monitor and a keyboard and all the other shit, you know, just to make a few discs. So that is going to be the purpose of this thing. I also have a fondness for this particular model because I had a friend when I was a teenager who had one of these. This was his daily driver. He used it for everything. Absolutely everything. And yeah, it was a workhorse for him. And yeah, he had a hard drive in it, and I think he had 2 floppy drives. He didn't have the one, just he had 2 of them. And yeah, he was always doing something on this computer. So those are all the reasons why I've chosen this one. I could have chosen like the IBM Portable, or oh, what else is out there? I can't think of any of the other ones out there. Hyperion, but Hyperion's not even, you know, close to being 100% compatible. And there was a Panasonic one, and you know, there were lots of computers like this. But I chose this one because of its, you know, historical significance of, you know, of basically wiping the floor with IBM's ass. And yeah, it's kind of a cool computer. And I don't know why there's blue stuff in here. Maybe we'll clean it up later. The keyboard, like, it's just turned completely yellow. I don't always want my shit to look 100% perfect. Like, the rest of it looks, you know, a good color. The keyboard looks like hell. It's all yellow. But we'll see what happens. We'll see how well this project goes. Alright, and on we go. Alright, opening this thing is a bit of a challenge. I looked into that too. And I think that's the one thing I hate about Compaq, is opening their shit. So this thing is, you know, harder to open than a drunk hooker at the bar, and yeah. So I kind of played around with it a bit, and people say, oh, don't use screwdrivers on it because it's brittle plastic. The only brittle plastic I've come across in these old computers is Apple computers, but you know, there's a first time for everything, right? But the old Apple Macintoshes from the 90s, their plastics are just garbage. They're always shattering on me. So the best way I've kind of come up with to take this thing apart is use like 3 screwdrivers. We got 2 there. I had a small one. Yeah, the small one that flipped away when I was trying to show you this thing. So we put one. You see the 5 notches at the top here. I don't know if you can see them. They're on this side too. There's 5 notches. Put 1 screwdriver underneath one, like that. Put another screwdriver at the other end, like that. And should be able to go along with another screwdriver and basically lift these up and put your fingers under there, and screwdriver fold out, and it comes off. There we go. That's a little bit of precious work to get it opened up, and we're in. Right on. This is the card case. I can see there's cards in here. We should look at them, make sure there's no leaking batteries on them at all, because that's one thing I don't want to do. You know what's nice? These are all flathead screws, so that's a plus. I don't have to pull out any kind of a, you know, stupid screwdriver or like a Torx head or anything like that. So I think the model I saw somebody rip apart, which was online, it had Torx screws on it. This does not have Torx screws, which makes me very happy. I need a container for my screws. I need a container for my screws. I usually have a second camera going here, but this thing's so freaking tall, I think it's kind of pointless this round. This piece looks like it comes off with all the removal of a bunch of these screws. And of course the fucking screw falls inside, right? That's always good. I like that. You know what? You don't even have to take these all the way out. Look at that. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Well. Here, let's grab the camera and take a boo inside of there. Okay, so I'm taking a boo inside of here with my headlight here. Well, it's pretty much typical. Not seeing much there. Yeah, I should pull these out. Take more of a look inside of there. There's the floppy drives down there. But I'm gonna pull these cards out and see what I can see. So what's interesting is these cards are held in here. These have the custom plates on them that were made by Compaq. This is definitely a Compaq video card, and looks like a floppy controller in here. So the screws sit on this plate here, but it has regular card edges in here in case you want to put your own junk in here. So that's kind of interesting. Let's take the cards out. Make sure there's nothing stupid going on here. Fucking flathead screws. They're gonna be pissing me off throughout this whole thing. I can see that. Hey, and out you come. Ooh. Video card. Hey, there's the video card. Look at that shit, okay? Nothing special on there. The crystal. Whole shitload of chips and a connector. And that's about it. Cool. It's a nice card. I like that. Okay, let's throw that over here. Let's take number 2 out. This will probably go to the actual screen, I'm guessing. Or there might be another board in here. Oh, that was nice and easy. It just pops right off. Look at that. Bump, 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 bump. Come on, fucker. There we go. Okay, there we go. There's the floppy controller card. Nice, nice, nice. Nothing too crazy on there. You know what the worst is about these fucking screws? Magnetic screwdriver does absolutely nothing. So when you drop, so you're going to fucking drop them, because none of these screwdrivers are picking it up. Okay, the good news is I got the other screw out. It was inside the floppy drive, and so I had to rip this fucking thing out too. Oh, God. I've learned something in the meantime while ripping this thing out. I did learn something about the computer, and it's going to make things, you know, a little difficult when I'm putting all my new drives in here. So let's take a tour of it. Okay, so the floppy drives are held in by these black posts here. That's how you screw them in. You screw in these black posts to this cage, and then the screws go through the middle and hold the floppy drive in place. Now, the thing about that is I have to sacrifice some of these because the drives I'm putting in here are going to be half height. So I have to sacrifice, you know, and there's some on this cage here. I'm going to have to sacrifice at least a couple of them to get a hard drive and another floppy drive in here. So that's a pain in the ass, but it's just going to have to be the way it is. So I just want to show you something while I'm putting the floppy drives back in here, which is a real bitch. They were nice enough to put a connector for a 3.5-inch floppy drive. Look at that. I was wondering if I'd have to put my own cable in there, but it looks like they've very nicely provided one. So I'm very thrilled about that because that's pretty much exactly where I was going to put the damn thing, right beside the hard drive, which is going to go like right here. So that's a piece of good news, but yeah, if you're gonna buy one of these things and work on it, it's a real bitch to work on, so just be forewarned. Okay, so I got it all back together, but I want to make sure that this thing still works now that I've ripped it apart and put it back together. Because if for some chance it doesn't work, I don't want to be, putting anything into it. I also noticed that this thing doesn't have a serial port on it, which needs to be remedied really badly, so I'm going to have to do that as well. Let's turn it on and make sure it does something. There we go. Current date is Tuesday, 01/01/1980. No, that's fine. It's today's date. The time is probably good too. There we go. MS-DOS version 5.0. It works. So, yeah. We got the Compaq Portable is working. Let's see. The keyboard is working for now, but it probably won't work for very long. So we're gonna have to rip this thing apart and do some maintenance on it so that it keeps working. So that's gonna be our next step.